Hi, welcome to try that again. Hi, welcome to episode 112 of the Cat Lady podcast. My name is Andrea. Hi, welcome to episode 112 of the Cat Lady podcast. My name is Andrea, also known as the Cat Lady. That's 2 T's, CATT, stands for Craft All the Things. It is Friday, May 1st, 2020. So welcome. If you are new, thank you for coming to check me out. I am primarily a fiber-related podcast, so knitting, spinning, all sorts of fiber-related arts, but I also do a lot of other crafty things, such as like perler beads and cricket crafts and all sorts of random things. So you never know what you're going to see. But mostly you'll see knitting and spinning. I'm also working on getting a hand-dyed yarn business up and running, so I will delve into some of that at the end of the episode as well. So welcome. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for always coming back and checking me out and supporting me, so I appreciate you all. I have a little fuzzy hair that's like right in my eyes. So anyways, you can find me all over the internet as the Cat Lady. That's, again, 2 T's, so TheCattledy. On Instagram, I have a Facebook group, and of course YouTube, and that's pretty much it. So I am recording to you from sunny Michigan. Today it is a little sunny. It's a little chilly. It's supposed to warm up this weekend, but we are having some sun and some blue skies. I think rain might be in the forecast this weekend, but I think we're finally turning the corner. It's been really bad weather, especially being locked up here in quarantine style. It snowed like all the way through the end of April, so it was pretty just dreary and didn't help the mood levels. So I am home with my husband and 2 kids who are 9 and 7, and Emily will be 10 next week. So just a brief, if there's anybody new, just a little brief rundown of what I'm all about, I guess. Into podcast news, I have some make-alongs going along in the Ravelry group, so please come join. Oh, that's another place you can find me, of course, is Ravelry. I haven't done show notes very well in a while, just because I'm having so many issues getting the podcast into my editing software and then onto YouTube that I just, the notes have gone by the wayside. So if you have any questions, my Ravelry pages are usually pretty up to date on the projects I've been working on, the yarns I'm using, the needle sizes, etc. I try to keep those tip-top. Photographs, I try to add those too, but some of those are missing. But but if you have any questions on anything I'm working on or anything I show, please just comment here, comment on Ravelry, comment anywhere, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I try my best to respond pretty quickly. So I'm not a big show here, so it's not like I'm getting hundreds of comments, so it's pretty easy to get in touch with me. But anyway, so I have some make-alongs going on. First one is a whip-along, so work in progress. The rules are all in Ravelry and everything, but pretty much the gist is if it's a work in progress that you started prior to January 1st, 2020, and you finish it, put it in the thread to win a prize. So far the prizes are either a bag of choosing, either the peach kitty bag or the teal kitty bag, 12 minis from Happy Little Yarn, so that's some nice bright colorful minis, and some stitch markers from Neatsy's Porch. Also some bright pretty, I don't want them to fall out, but so that is the prize pack for the winner of the whip-along, and it's going on through the summer. I figure right before you kind of start having to worry about like Christmas knitting and stuff like that. So, and the point of me starting the whip-along was I have a lot of whips that I need to finish. And guess what? I have been really bad, and I'm still bad at finishing whips prior to 2020. So I am not a good example of practicing what I preach here. So. But if you are working on your whips and you finish them, we got some nice ones going on, actually. So let me see if I can showcase a whip or two that we've had. Let's see, whip along. And I only have a finished object thread. I don't have a chatter thread for this one. I don't know why I just didn't. So let's see. This one's a cool one. So let's see, did she... Silver Forest, that was started in July by V. Shaw 7. If that shows up, so a real pretty sweater finished object. And I'm just kind of randomly picking. Here's a really fun hat, started in 2018. So this is Pettis Kim Knits, who is also the Crafty Nomad podcast. So a 2018 whip, real pretty hat, very colorful. So yeah, oh, and a nice flax light. Started also another 2018 by Polly81. So that's looking good. So keep finishing those whips. Put them in the thread. Again, double dip wherever else is doing knit-alongs and whatever. Oh, and if you frog something, so my little picture here, I have a picture of my cat sniffing a loom project I started. I frogged it. So, and I frogged some other things too. So if you frog something that wasn't finished, you can add that too. So the second make-along I have is a joint make-along with Needles at the Ready and Happy Little Yarn. So that started April 15th, 2020. Whips are allowed. So again, if you finish a whip that you had from something else and you want to put it in both, please do. Knit, crochet, papercraft, sewing, spinning, whatever. No minimum materials or maximum, but so, you know, pair of baby socks, whatever, that's fine. The only thing we are limiting is large quantities because a lot of us are making masks for Corona to wear, and people are making like, you know, bulk 50 masks a day, so we're going to limit it to one post a day, so one finished batch of something a day. So if you knit a bunch, or if you maybe make those little ear saver things, you make 20 of them, you get one post a day for those, and you make 20 the next day, you get another post for them. So you can make the quantities, but just limit it to one post a day, so we're not inundated with 100 mask posts. Must be a member of Ravelry group to win. Each of us have our own prizes. I don't have anything set yet, but I know I will donate a skein of hand-dyed yarn. Probably, I have 2 bags here, so maybe the other bag, I don't know if I should just pick one. Maybe if I dye yarn that's similar to one of the bags, I'll coordinate. I'm not sure. If you have any thoughts or opinions, please chime in. And if you have anything to donate for prizes, please, I'm always happy to accept donations for prizes. I have more stitch markers from Neatsy, so I will put one of those in as well. And each group has their own slightly variation of rules and prizes, so definitely head over to Needles at the Ready Ravelry group and Happy Little Yarn Ravelry group and enter in all of them. And again, throw it in the whip along too, as long as it was started before January. So that is it for, oh, and if you post on Instagram, use the hashtags TCL stress-free MAL. So TCL stress-free MAL. And I will showcase your projects in my Instagram stories. And I said I was going to showcase some finished objects in our thread, so we don't have many yet, but we have a couple, so I'm just going to kind of show them all right now, because I only have 3, so that's okay. So Raven Diva has a pair of finished socks. So those are pretty. And then she also has the easiest cable hat ever. Ooh, she got 2 of them. Those are cute. And those look fun. I like good easy hats, so I actually might have to look into that pattern. And then this just blows me away. And she did this super quick, like, I can't remember the start date, but it was fast. This is the Habitation Throw, and it was very planned, like planned colors, so it wasn't scrappy, and it just looks, it's gorgeous. And I really want to make a Habitation Throw. Hopefully these are focusing. It looks like they are, but... So, but of course, if you want to see all of these projects, go head over to the Ravelry group and you can see them up close and personal. So, end date is still to be determined. So, you know, we were kind of just like the state of our world. It's to be determined. So, I know this sounds a little down, but whatever. It is what it is. So that is it for podcast news. So on to knitting and crochet. You might see I am wearing a finished object. This was my first quarantine cast on. Like I called it my quarantine doodler. So this is the Doodler by Stephen West. I will show you the whole thing. This is my one and only shawl pin. And I'm still trying to figure out how to wear this, but that seemed to work. But this is knit out of all hand-dyed yarn. So this was kind of some of my first hand-dyed samples. And here we are. So it is big and beautiful. And yep, can't even fit it all on screen. So it's got interesting construction. It's like, it's a lot of short rows, so we have like a smaller edging than we do here. It gets real big, and it was the same with the braid at the top. Starts out kind of thin and then gets really big. And same with like the wedges. They start off real small at this side and get real big on this side. So definitely a theme. So the navy is After Midnight. The speckle is Moonberries, and the pink is Bright Berry Sorbet. I believe that's what, did I put them in there? Yes. So every time I dye, I try to come up with a colorway name. So yeah, now I gotta figure out how to put it back on. Of course, I spent, you know, time zhuzhing it before I recorded, so now I have to just kind of fling it on. I'm not gonna worry about my shawl pin or nothing. So it is what it is at the moment. So, but I love it. I'm happy to finish it. I actually needed the needles, so I really needed to finish it. So I will tell you what I am working on next with those needles. This was done with size, did I write that? Oh, I didn't. Size 6. Size 6 needles, which is US millimeter, or US 6, which is, no, not 6, 4s. US 4s, which is 3.5 millimeters. So I needed my 4s. So the next project I have coming needed 4s. So this used size 4s. I needed both the cable and the needles, so that kind of lit the fire to finish that. In other finished objects, this is a new cast on / finished object that kind of showcased a little bit on Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen bits and pieces of these. But these are the Fire Pit Mitts by Taylor Earl, who is Fiber for the People yarn. So these are just fun. I just needed something like quick. So I like instant gratification. And when I saw these on her podcast, I loved them and threw them in my queue. And then, yeah, so then I kind of needed an instant gratification project, and this was it. This is also hand-dyed yarn. So this was the leftover navy stock for the After Midnight colorway that I tossed 4 ounces of fisherman's wool. So this is Lion Brand fisherman's wool. So it's a non-superwash, rustic wool that I've had it lying around in my stash for a while. So I thought, oh, I might as well dye it up and play around with it. So just a simple curled rolled edge, stockinette rolled edge. All stockinette, real simple. It's got a little, just a little slouchy look to it. So Fire Pit Mitts, love them. These were made with size 7, which is 4.5 millimeter DPNs. And yeah, really only took me less than a week. Attracting cat hair though. Anyways, so of course now that the weather's changing, but you know, I like a good pair of mitts whenever, so. And we do have a fire pit, so I'm looking forward to maybe one cooler evening, get those on for an evening fire. And that's all for my finished objects, so on to my whips. I did some work on my sweater, and this is like the sweater from Hell, I won't say it. This was supposed to be an easy, bulky sweater. This was supposed to be an easy project. I cast this on probably in like September. I don't know. This was supposed to be easy. This is the Keene sweater by Alicia Plummer, and I've just had nothing but trouble with the sleeve. So this was the sleeve. I've ripped this sleeve out like 3 times, maybe more, maybe 4. And then I started again on this side because I don't know, I just needed to give this one a break. Well, no, that's not true. So I left this sleeve in actually until I redid it again on this side and then pulled this one out. So I figured out what the problem was. So this size, this calls for size 10.5, 6.5 millimeter needles, and size 11, which is 8 millimeter needles. So you knit the body in the 11s and you knit the edging in the 10.5s like you do on allow sweaters. Well, apparently I knit the border or the ribbing on my 10.5s and then just went and picked up the sleeve with the 10.5s and didn't even think about it. I don't even know how I figured it out. I was just like, I don't know how I figured it out. I think I happened to just, I don't know. I don't know what I did, but I figured it out that I was using the wrong needle size for the sleeve for the last 3 times that I've done it, and that's why it was too tight. So I redid it again on 11s. It's still not what I expected. Like, it still feels like it's slightly, it's not snug. It's not like uncomfortably snug, but if you look at the photo and you look at the sizing, and if I compared to the sizing of the body, I just wanted it like loose and kind of flowy. And it's not. It's more form-fitted than I'd prefer. But it's not super form-fitted, so hard to explain. But I'm just going with it now, as is. I'm following the pattern. I've done however many increases there, or decreases, and I'm just going with it. And it's going to be what it's going to be. And I'm going to like it just fine. I'm going to wear it. It's my color. I like this color. It's Knit Picks Brava Bulky in the wine color. So it's way more burgundy than, this looks very red and maroon. It's more burgundy. So color is not translating very well. So yeah, it's definitely not that red. This looks like Christmas red. It is definitely more burgundy. So pinkish, reddish. Fuzzies. Now I feel like it's getting like so fuzzy just from pulling it in and out of the bag so many times. So, and that is living in my Minnie Mouse bag, Mickey and Minnie bag that I made. It's a little short. Like the bag is needs to be a little bit taller. So I kind of measured wrong. But so maybe I'll pick that up again this weekend. I only kind of worked on it for a Saturday and figured out my mistake, redid the sleeve, and still not like 100% thrilled with it. So that's why I just kind of ignored it again. So I just need to finish it. Just need to finish it and be done with it, because it's either I finish it or I frog it, and I do like it, so I really want to finish it. So because I still need the other sleeve, so I need a sleeve and a half and the cowl neck, because it's a big big neck. So but I got some work done on it, so that's good. Let's see, new cast-ons, because yeah, I can't stop casting things on. So you saw the fire pit mitts that I cast on, so another new cast-on is the Ripple Bralette by Jessie Maid. So here is the picture of it. So this is pretty popular going around. Am I ever gonna really wear it? I don't know. I don't know. But it looks fun and I want to do it. So I literally cast it on, and so it's nothing much to see here. Cast on size 2s, which is 3.75 millimeter, and yeah, my needles are too long, or they're too long but not long enough. So I'm gonna have to do magic loop, hence why I need the larger cable from the doodler, and there's only like 2 or 3 rows on the 2s, and then it switches to 4s. So I figured just finish the doodler, I'd get my cord, get my needles. So yeah, I literally just cast on the row, that's it. And the yarn I'm using is Fiber Stash Dye Works in Dirty Crayon Box. So this is gonna look pretty awesome, and it is sparkly, so it's probably hard to see on camera, but it is got some stellina in it. So I think this is gonna look amazing. So that is one cast on, so not much to see. And it's just shoved in a bag with a bunch of other random stuff. This is a Star Wars bag. Kind of a quilted Star Wars bag. I really need to do some organization of my things, my shelves, my bags, everything, my baskets. It's just kind of a hot mess. So my second cast on, which I've gotten some more work done on. Where is that? That's in here. That is in my BB-8 bag from Witchy Knits, who is Brandy Miller Designs. She does patterns, but she just made some bags for friends. So that's my BB-8 bag. And this is knit out of my hand-dyed yarn, my one and only gradient that I wanted to try. So I like to sample things out, so I showed off. I did some self-striping, and that was a lot of work and really not something you could produce regularly without the proper equipment. So this is the same thing. So this was a gradient experiment. Honestly, did not turn out how I envisioned it color-wise, but it's gorgeous, so I don't care. So this is what it is. I'm calling it Indigo Sea. And it's kind of an indigo blue into a very teal blue, which it was supposed to be more of a spearmint green, not spearmint green, but more of a greenish colored. This is more like all blue. So, which is fine. I still really like it. But again, when I'm picking up the colors on the color chart, this was not how it was supposed to turn out. And it was a tangly mess, like almost every step of the way. Oh, but it is so soft. This is the merino. This is the 17 micron merino 2-ply, 100% merino superwash 2-ply. It is so soft. It's almost like knitting with silk. So I knew I had to find a pattern, a shawl pattern right away. So I did. So not much to see here, but I started a shawl. And it's a crescent shape, so it's going to be hard to kind of show here, but and it's obviously real thin. These are the size 6s, so these are the size 6 needles, which is 4mm. Maybe I should have stepped down, but I don't know. I want it to be kind of airy and a little bit bigger, so I'm okay with the bigger stitches. The 2-ply opens up the lace a lot more, so yeah, it'll block real gently. And it'll just be an airy kind of drapey, real drapey. It'll be really drapey, so I'm really excited about this. This is and this was a free pattern. I've been buying a lot of patterns, so I just thought, okay, I shouldn't be casting things on, so I'm gonna find a free pattern. And to be honest, the colors, it's so funny because her shawls are like the same colors. It's gonna be a little different, but it's a very similar color scheme. This is the Kindness Shawl by Jala Spiro. So it's obviously it was designed with a gradient. This was Knit Circus yarns. And yeah, it's got just some basic kind of little yarn over section in there, and then it ends with a horseshoe lace border. So I knew this yarn is supposed to be good for lace, like lace work, so I wanted to find something that had some lace in it and that would look good in gradient. I always think the crescent shape looks good with gradients, so that's what I did. There's another picture of the shawl. So yeah, it's going to be about the same colors, except mine gets light and then dark again. So it's going to go like blue and then have this light patch and then kind of the tealy end. So that is all for my works in progress. So now I can work on the Ripple Bralette again. Maybe this weekend I'll work on my sweater. I have other works in progress too, but those are the only ones that have gotten any attention, so those are the only ones you will see. What else do I have work in progress? I have like an ascot bow tie thing. That might be it actually. So I'm not doing too bad, but I'm just not finishing anything that I really need to finish. Spinning I've not touched. So I put my fiber optics onto the wheel last that I spoke, and I started it and then completely abandoned it. Not sure why, even though I had just touted how easy it is to spin when the kids are doing work, but I just completely abandoned it, so I'll get to it eventually. Oh, that's partially why. So in other crafts, I've been sewing more masks, so I will put in the pictures because most of them have already left the house. But I made masks for my mom and stepdad. I made them for my neighbors who are an older couple that live next door. And yeah, she had mentioned maybe trying to dig out her sewing machine. I said, let me make you some because I got my stuff out, whatever. We're good to go. I didn't have elastic yet though, so she dug through her supplies and found some random bits of elastic, just enough for me to make 2 masks for her and her husband. So that worked out. I did order elastics, and so I got some of that already. But yeah, so then I made some for my in-laws, and then for a friend that used to babysit for us, her and her family. So those ones, so I have the adult pattern down. So just the standard, the one that you saw that I had. Oh, and I gotta show the pictures. So, but she has 2 small children. So for my kids, I literally just slightly adapted the adult pattern because they didn't need much difference. She's got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So I Googled children's patterns, and it was a really simple pattern because it was a rectangle, and then you flip it and you have 2 rectangles that overlap on the back so that it's like a flap. So then you can put a filter in. So it was really just a rectangle that was real thick because it had the so you had your 1 square, and then your 2, you cut out 2 more and then folded them in half and then overlapped them. So then you had a nice, no weird edges, you know? So then technically that whole thing was like 3 layers thick because you had the double layer on the back, doubled. So right in the center where they overlap is 5 layers. And then you had the layer in the front. Hopefully that made sense. But anyways, if you look at the picture, you can kind of tell. And then you just string elastic through the edges and it kind of gathers. And again, it was for the kids. Well, and I followed the pattern and I followed the sizing that the elastic needed. Well, the elastic was not for the I think she might have changed the elastic for both of them. That wasn't enough. So like it was pulling on his ear. He didn't care. The 3-year-old didn't care. She said she loved it. And he loved it and was wandering around with it, which was really, really funny. But she found some thinner, like corded elastic and did that. So thankfully it worked out. So, because she's got to take the kids, the 1-year-old, to the doctor's on Monday. So and they're required to wear masks. Boy, I don't talk so much anymore, so tend to get dry mouth now. Well, actually I do a lot of yelling, so I don't know. Anyways, so I made a bunch more masks. I need to make another, oh shoot, I forgot to grab that. I'll put in another picture in a minute, but I'm probably gonna make another. I made a spare one for Jim, because he's probably gonna have to go back to work pretty soon. I mean, our stay-at-home order is through the 15th of May. We're gonna have to start figuring out how to enter society again relatively soon. So he wanted a spare mask to take to work so that we can rotate and wash and whatever. And then I'll probably make a spare one for me, because if I go out and do something, then I'll come home and wash one. So I'll be making a few more masks. And I sorted perler beads, so I don't know if I mentioned that last time or not. I think I said I was getting my sorter in the mail, so it was a bin, and I'll put a picture of it because I totally forgot to grab it. But so we had a big bin of perler beads, and then I got a little sorter tray. So they're so pretty. It's just so pretty. So all of them were sorted, and now we're paranoid that the kids are gonna just completely topple it over. So, which wouldn't be surprising. So that is it for the crafty projects. Now I'm going to go into the yarn dyeing. So if you're not interested in seeing the yarn I've been dyeing, then you can fast forward a little bit and I'll have life stuff to talk about and other stuff. If you're just wanting to see the knitting and the crafty, that side of the crafts, then I'm done. But anyways, I will go on. So for the last 2 Saturdays, I've had them to myself, kind of just give Mom the day off. And that seems to be what the trend for a while is. We all just kind of do our own thing on Saturday. So the kids usually just sit around and play games and watch TV, and husband plays games, watch TV, whatever, and I just do my crafty stuff. So the last 2 Saturdays I've been able to get down and do some dyeing. And I think I managed to sneak down on a weeknight for a couple hours too, so that was good. So I have, not a ton, but I got a lot more yarn to share than previous. So you saw the gradient, so that was that one. So that was Indigo Sea. Again, even if they're one of the kinds, I'm trying to name them. So I'll try to show them in order of how I dyed them. So what did I dye first? That's right. So my first batch was, and I will tell you my experiment I did. So here's my first one. This I'm calling Earthbound. So very earthy tones. And we got the browns. There we go. Browns to the green, blues to the greens. Or no, it went browns to the greens to the blues. And so for this first batch, I decided to reskein each one just to see what they look like. So this is what it looks like reskeined, which to be honest, I like it better out of the pot. However, this shows you what it'll look like knit up more, because if you put it in a cake, it looks like this. So it's obviously very a variegated color, but super pretty. I really like this one. I really like how this came out. And this is a 75-25 blend leftover from, so not the new batch of yarn I ordered. This is leftovers from stuff I had already had, because the new stuff is all 80-20. So the second one I did, called Punk Flamingo. So, you know, flamingo-y pinks and oranges with the graffiti-like speckles. Colors are coming through pretty well. This might be a little bit brighter on screen than it is, but not bad. And this is what it looks like reskeined. So not terribly different, but it really blends the pink and the orange and distributes the speckles more. Which again will be more what it'll knit up like. So I actually like this one reskeined better. So the first one I don't like as much. I don't not like it, but if I had to pick one, I'd pick the not reskeined. This one I prefer reskeined, so they're there next to each other. So I mean, it's not terribly different, but subtly different. This one's obviously like hugely different. And then the third batch I did that session was blue hydrangeas. So it's kind of a cornflowery hydrangea blue with some speckles of brownish gold and green. Pretty subtle. Kind of easier to show like that. And this was straight out of the pot, and then this one was reskeined, and I see no difference. They look about the same. They look pretty much the same. Oh, and this is the BFL 80-20. So this is the new yarn. This is the 80-20 BFL. The other two were the 75-25s. So that was session 1. Session 2, so I had 3 sessions. Yeah, so session 2, this is the 80-20 merino. So this is the new batch, the 80-20. This is Sadie, the tuxedo cat. So really just it's about a third white, or yeah, it's almost half and half, not quite half and half. So. And then I was attempting a Devo, and then I didn't think it through. So this was not Devo, but this we determined was maybe more of a Ozzy the Orange Tabby, which Ozzy is one of my really good friend Jen's cats, which this is not that bright. This looks like blazing orange on the screen. It is not blazing orange. It is a more, and it's a saturated orange. Don't get me wrong. Not even quite Ozzy orange. It's a little bright, but I liked calling it Ozzy because I thought it was similar. Ozzy's got white in her too, but I didn't put any white in here. Devo is white and orange, so I don't know what I was thinking. So I don't know. Maybe I'll rename this. It's maybe too orange. So, but for now it's Ozzy the Orange Tabby. And then my friends helped me name this one because I wasn't sure. This one was just kind of more playing around. That was an 80-20. This is also an 80-20. And this is called Blue Nile. And it's a little hard to tell when it's wound up here, but it's kind of a gradient. It starts lighter here and gets darker at the end. I guess you can kind of see, so it's light here. This is the top of the skein, this was the end of the skein. So it's light at one end, dark at the other, and then the speckles. We got some heavy speckling in some spots. And what speckles? Is that navy speckles? I think it's navy speckles. So this is Blue Nile, and this is on the 80/20. That was, oh nope, and then I think this went with these two. And I am super thrilled with these ones. I love these ones. I love these ones. It's just, it can't, some things just came out right as I wanted them to, and some didn't, but I like them. But this one was one of the ones that came out like exactly what I wanted. This is also the 80/20 merino nylon, and this is called 80s Hair Scrunchie. Show the other side here. So, and this is why, and this was my inspiration. So I feel like I nailed that, like, spot on. So I love these. I think these are so fun. I'd love to knit a sample up and see what they look like. I don't know what I'm doing with all this yarn right now. Like, I ideally need to sell some of it so that I can continue purchasing things for the business and, you know, growing the business. Because obviously I just can't keep this all and knit it, even though I want to. Some of them I am, like, so the gradient, I need samples, so I planned to dye yarn and keep it for a sample, because I'd like some samples of how my yarn knits up. That one is a one of a kind. I'm not selling gradients right now, not until again, if I sell more yarn and I can buy things like a warping board or a warping mill or, you know, a skein winder or things like that, then we can do things like that, and then we can do things like self-striping. So, you know, I'm not selling self-striping right now, so I'm going to keep this one. Focusing. And I've shown this one before. Now, here's a tangent on this one. So, they say you're not supposed to store yarn in, like, tight balls, which is exactly what this is, and I have one of these somewhere from, you know, a dyer. It's a BB-8 themed one that I need to knit up. So, like, am I, like, damaging my yarn by storing it like this, like keeping it like this? Should I undo it and put it in a skein or a cake or whatever? You're supposed to store your yarn in, like, hanks, right? So, like, am I doing a disservice to this yarn and the one that I purchased, like years ago? Like, is it completely, like, gonna be destroyed and not sturdy when I knit it into socks? I don't know. So, if you have any opinions on that. But people sell those like that all the time, so I don't know. But 80s Hair Scrunchie. And then, so that was another session. So then the last session was the gradient, was Devo round 2. So this was take 2 for Devo, and this was much better. So this is Devo, the orange tabby. And I did things a lot differently with the oranges. So, you know, so yeah, looking at it next to this, I mean, it's a huge difference. This is definitely the orange tabby orange. And Devo's got a lot of white in them, so this was perfect. So this one's pretty orange. So maybe I need to just change this to another name. But because this was a blend of colors to make this orange. That was an orange straight out of the dye pot or dye powder. What was that? So so I'm keeping these two. So yeah, I feel like I'm keeping too many, but this is my Sadie and Devo. So not that I can't make these again, but I'll probably keep these. And I gotta think of something fun to knit up that's cat related. So that was Devo. And then Peach Blush. And these are in the same as the gradient, the 17 micron merino. 100% superwash merino. So this is Peach Blush. And I did 2 of those. And like, oh, if you could see these in person, you can see like these just subtle pops of yellow in there. And then I got the like light pink. It's hard to tell on the camera, I think, but I love how these turned out. I really do. And they're so soft. I love this merino, it's so soft. I just want to knit all the things with this. So that is that. And then lastly, this was called, so I'm trying to not waste dye. I have dumped some dye down the drain, like when it's like semi-clear, but it's got a little bit tinges of dye in it. But I'm trying not to do that on a regular basis. But again, I'm at the point where it's like I don't want to blow through my yarn on these one-offs when I'm still trying to develop colorways and figure out things. And I can't store, like I have 2 pots downstairs now with some excess color that need to be exhausted. Either I just need to dump them or I need to put some yarn in them, and it's like I don't want to waste my yarn until I like have the money to buy more yarn. So this is weird. This is this weird beginning business thing, you know, and I've already invested my own money and I've been buying stuff with my own money. So I don't know. I don't know what the best plan is. So I'm trying to kind of slowly get business legalized, like being able to sell things legally, so that I can just sell. I don't want to, like, again, I'm concerned about all the other dyers that are trying to sell things and need the money. And I'm concerned about everyone who's lacking the money to buy things. So it's like, I don't want to say, hey, come buy all my stuff because, you know, I don't know. So it's a weird place to be mentally. But I know I need the money to to slowly grow the business. And again, I'm not in a hurry, but you know, I'd like to be able to keep making my colorways and figuring this out. And then I'd like to be able, you know, I need to kind of test out to see if I can repeat these. So I'm taking notes on all these, but are they repeatable? I think so, but I don't know. So I don't know. Anyways, that was another tangent. So this is called Mistakes Happen, and this is in the 9 Lives series is what I'm calling it. So basically, you're giving your dye a second life. So, and of course I'm the cat lady, so I have to try to make a cat theme. So this is the 9 Lives, and this is called Mistakes Happen because this turned into crazy, which I love it. So what happened here was this was leftover dye from Tuxedo Cat, so it was just the black, and that didn't fully exhaust because, of course, you know, I wanted it black, real saturated, and I only had half the skein in there, so there was a little bit of residual dye left over in the water. Now, if I would have let it exhaust all night, it might have adhered to the yarn, or, you know, it might have exhausted, because, I mean, there's still a little bit of spots that are, and that's closer to the edge, but a little bit of grayish tinge in some spots. So maybe it would have exhausted all the way, but I was excited, and I took it out. So anyways, I put a skein in the rest of the black, and I got this real nice gray, and I was really happy with it. I was really happy how it was turning out. So then somehow, while I was dyeing the peach blush, which has some yellow in it, somehow a splash of yellow got on my tinfoil lid that was covering, like, obviously I like opened up the one for the gray, and then I was doing something with the peach blush, and the yellow got onto the top of the tinfoil, like the inside of the tinfoil. So then when I put the tinfoil lid back on my pan with the gray in it, I got one splotch of yellow. Like, if you go to, yeah, I think I might have a picture on my Instagram. One splotch of yellow on the whole skein of gray. Now, again, I'm still undecided on what I'm doing with this yarn. Am I gonna knit it? Am I whatever? Because I still need samples and whatever. But I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Do I just keep it? And it's like, if you knit something, you'll have some weird splotch of yellow somewhere, or a little. It would be like a stitch here and a stitch there, but it would only be in one spot. Like, it probably wouldn't be noticeable, but it was weird. So I did a poll: should I add more yellow to it? Or should I leave it alone? And it was pretty overwhelming, add more yellow. So I'm like, okay. So the next day I put it back in the pot and I added more yellow. And that was gonna be it. Oh, and then I thought, okay, I'll do some black speckles, because I don't know, I like black speckles. I just thought it would make it pop. So, and then I'm like, oh, maybe if I had a little pink speckles. So the first batch of pink speckle, like, splotched, like it was like not speckly, it was like a giant pink splotch. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm adding pink splotches instead. So it turned into like pink splotchy speckles, yellow, and black speckles. But it turned out great. I think it'll be great. So, but I thought the name Mistakes Happen was good, kind of fun. So, that's it. So, I mean, that's a lot of yarn that's the most I've showed off at one time. So, like, can I pick it all up? Oh. There it is. That is a lot of yarn. That hopefully will soon, some of it will be for sale at some point. So, in addition to these 4, I don't know if I might keep this one too, I don't know. Because this one was very experimental too, so I don't know. Now that I mixed it all up, so. Oh, so here's another quick conundrum that I would love to get your opinion on. So, the 75-25 comes in longer skeins. So when they do the circumference of it, it's longer. It's so you know, when I did something like like this one, so like Earthbound, it's pretty long and thin. So I had a longer area to spread out the colors. So the 80-20, so my big giant bin of 80-20 that I have is shorter. Substantially shorter. I mean, that's a whole twist shorter. Is it focusing? So like if I tried to do this colorway on this, it's gonna be shorter lengths of color. So it's gonna knit up differently. And like, is that an issue? Like, I mean, it's gonna knit up similar, I would think, but it's gonna be different. But I mean, different bases come in different circumferences, and different companies do different things. So, you know, that's going to be the same across the board. Like, and I think that's got to be common with a lot of dyers, right? Like if you're buying your bases, you know, varying places, which I don't know, I know some people do for sure. I know some people I follow for 100% they're buying them from different bases and different suppliers. Some people may not. So if they're only getting it from one supplier, but I really like this 80-20. The 75-25 is alright. I feel like it's a little like rough-ish. It's not. I mean, it's the same as, it's very popular. It's a very popular company that a lot of the yarn we get is this. But compared to this, you know, it's 5% more wool, less nylon. And, you know, I'd like to offer both probably at some point. Maybe, I don't know, I guess try both and see which one sells better. But right now I have all this. So if I wanted to dye this color on this, how is it going to turn out? Do I need to do a sample? Do I need to dye another one of these and see how it, and maybe even, I don't know. And then I'm thinking, well, are these not pretty enough to sell like this? Do I need to reskein them? I don't think so. I think I've sold myself on that, not because that's way too much work. The BFL is definitely a little even shorter just because I think just BFL is just different. So it even seems a little plumper. So I don't know. And I'm, of course, fighting with skeining them pretty in general. I still need to photograph almost all these. You know, like and yeah, this one's a little, you know, it's a little squat skein compared to this. Like, look at that, it's huge. So, like, is that an issue? Do you even think about that when you buy yarn? Probably not. I never did before. Of course, I'm not buying yarn based on how it's skeined up. I'm buying it on the colors or what I see, you know. I'm not looking at, like, how it's twisted, particularly. So, am I overthinking things? Yes, probably I am, because that's what I do. So, yeah. So that's all I have for dyeing, and hopefully I will get back to dyeing some more tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday. We'll see. I don't know. We're having some issues with electrical. So there's a circuit. The circuit I'm on also is shared with my bedroom lights and Emily's bedroom lights and one of her plugs and possibly one of our plugs here. So if I'm running the burners, like if I'm running both burners on high, which isn't all the time, but sometimes, it trips the fuse. So then the lights go off and whatever, and Emily's clock gets reset, and it's kind of a pain. And then now there's a switch, another circuit in our basement that keeps getting tripped. The GFI plug keeps tripping. So now Jim has stolen my burner plug to plug in our internet, because our internet keeps going out because the GFI keeps tripping. And that's either the plug is bad or there's something else wrong, so we need an electrician. I'm thinking I need a dedicated circuit for my burners. The washing machine is next to where I am, and I've been researching it, I'm pretty sure I can use that plug as long as I'm not running the washing machine, of course, which I wouldn't be probably while dyeing. I mean, I could while dyeing, but if I'm using that plug, I'm certainly not going to be running the washing machine. So I think I can use that plug because I think it's a 240 plug that's wired to its own 20 amp circuit. And I know nothing about like electrician stuff and electrical stuff, so I've just been reading about this a lot the last few days. So if I plug in my two 1800 watt units and have them on high, it should still only use like 15 amps, and that's a 20 amp. So that should be fine. My cords aren't long enough at the moment, so I would need a small extension cord to run them, and then do I use 2 extension cords, one for each burner? I don't know. And I need a heavy duty extension cord, so again, like all these things. Honestly, I just need a stove. I just need my own stove downstairs. I just need a stove. But then I would need its own plug and whatever. So, I don't know. Anyway, so other than that, I filed for my sales tax license officially through Michigan. I have no idea if I did it right. I don't know. Do they tell me if it's right or wrong, or that it's been accepted, or do I just file and assume that I'm legal? I think I put the date as like May 1st. So can I legally sell things today and accept sales tax? I don't know. When do I have to start submitting sales tax? I don't know. Supposedly I think they're supposed to send me something with like envelopes to mail out with your estimated taxes. I don't know, it's a little scary, so figure that out. Other than that, I'm trying to start up a website. Square offers a free platform, so I mean, it's not my own domain name, but it's something to start. I'm still kind of trying to maybe stay away from Etsy, just because there's so much kerfuffle about Etsy, so. But I don't have a lot here to list, but I got more. When I was starting my website, I didn't have as much, so now I have a little more. So I don't know, do I just slowly just list a few things and see how it goes? But then it's like, I gotta worry about shipping things, I still need labels. There's just all these things. So, here's another question for you. So I really need to finish my Fingerless Smith pattern because it's pretty much finished. I just need to like really just fill in the odds and ends, like how much yardage it used, and that's pretty much it. I just need to figure out the yardage between the extra large and the extra small, which I have some of it floating around. I just need to compile it and put it in the pattern. It's really the only thing, and I need to take some better pictures. Technically I have enough pictures of the DK one to let it go, but I don't really have any good ones of the worsted, and I wanted to do like a specific photo shoot for it, so haven't got to that. But anyways, here's the question. Is it weird to release a pattern for fingerless mitts like in the middle of summer? Should I wait till fall when like fingerless mitts are starting to become like, you know, something you'd want to wear? Because who's going to be wearing fingerless mitts in the middle of the summer? Not many people, unless you're on the other side of the hemisphere and it's winter. So I don't know. But my main audience is here, so do I wait till fall? Or do I just set it free and see what happens? So please chime in with your thoughts. If you're still watching. Life in a review, lots of cooking. Lots of annoying cooking, but lots of good cooking. So I've made apple butter, which is really good. I've made a ton of bread, which has all been really good. So the latest bread creation was a garlic Parmesan swirl. Oh my gosh, it was so good. So that's on the agenda for next week. So it was 2 loaves of bread. I made 1 regular loaf and then a Parmesan garlic swirl. I don't think I cooked it long enough, so like part of it, when you got to the middle of it, it kind of was like a little weird and falling apart, but it still tasted really good, so whatever. Biscuits. I've been making these drop biscuits that are like super easy and really good and really buttery, and I think I need to make some of those today, maybe. And sausage gravy to go with the biscuits. Oh, so good. We've been making homemade Dole Whips, which is a confection that you get at Disney World. It's pineapple. It's like pineapple ice cream, pretty much. It's pineapple soft serve. And when you get it at the parks, it's a soft serve powder that they put into their machine, and it's a pineapple soft serve. But the recipe they posted is fresh pineapple, pineapple juice, and vanilla ice cream, and it's really good. So we've made a few of those. And then the Dalgona coffee. So it's whipped coffee. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen my Dalgona journey. So I did it once, and I pretty much said, I'm not sure I like it. It's weird. But then I really wanted to make it again. So I made it again, and I was like, okay, it's better. Now I figured it out. We weren't mixing it enough. So you see all the pictures, and it's just like, a cup of milk. It's pretty much iced milk with foamy coffee on top. Whipped coffee. It's like a whipped cream coffee on top. And so it looks pretty like that. But if you drink it like that, it's weird because you're just getting this weird whipped, super strong coffee and then milk underneath. And if you kind of try to like get it together, like so you're getting a mouthful of whipped and some milk, and it didn't work out very well that way. So you really gotta mix it which is not as pretty anymore. But then it tastes really good because then it tastes like a really sweetened iced coffee, really. So Jim loves it and I love it. And it's using, so the original recipe I saw used espresso powder, and I happen to have some because I was making lattes. But you can't find espresso powder anywhere anymore. So then I Googled like instant coffee. So I bought a dark roast instant coffee. Just real standard, cheap instant coffee powder, and it's the same. It uses a lot of sugar. I attempted to cut down the sugar. It doesn't whip up as well. So someone suggested using a sugar substitute. I don't have one on hand. I don't don't really like sugar substitutes, but I would try one, maybe half and half. Maybe half a substitute, half a regular sugar. Some recipes said you could use honey, which would be a better sugar, I guess, than just straight up table sugar, but I don't know. It's really good. I'm gonna make one today. We've been not doing it every day. We've been like every other day, like staggering it. What else? That's it. Homeschooling. We have good days, we have bad days. Obviously this week didn't go great because I was going to record on Wednesday. I was going to take Wednesday off, but Tuesday went to heck in a handbasket, so we had to do school on Wednesday because Tuesday was just like bust. So we did school Wednesday, and I thought, okay, I'm going to move the podcast to Fridays. So, oh boy, I'm recording a long time today. Does that say what I think it says? Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and I'll be back. Boy, this is a long episode today. So anyways, let me wrap things up. So we have good days, we have bad days with homeschool, so whatever. But this is it. This is our life until June. So, Devo, my cat, my little cat, is got some problems. So he's been losing a lot of weight, and before lockdown happened, I took him to the vet, and he had blood work done because he's just losing weight, and he's just kind of grumpy and just not himself. All his blood work came back normal at that point, but we we were gonna switch around his meds a little bit, and then wait and see what happened. Well, got to the point where he was down to 8.3 pounds, which he's a normal cat at like 12 pounds. And then he kind of dropped to like 10 pounds a couple years ago, and he's kind of been stable there. So now he's down to 8. So I was getting kind of freaked out. So I took him to the vet, and it was like curbside vet, I dropped him off and leave. They sent me home with B12 shots, and they took more blood to test for something else. So blood results came back yesterday, and he has got a pancreatic enzyme deficiency. So basically his pancreas does not produce the enzyme he needs to digest his food properly. which causes, of course, weight loss because he's not digesting his food. He's not holding on to any of the nutrients in his food. And it just makes him lethargic and makes him not want to eat and just makes him kind of grumpy and makes him kind of scraggly. So they've ordered the medication for that. I should get it next week. I've been giving him B12 shots weekly, and that's pretty much for the rest of his life. He'll be getting B12 shots, and he'll be on this enzyme. So I'm crossing my fingers that he perks up. Like, he's definitely improved since the B12. So I'm hoping we get more back to his sweet demeanor when we get the enzyme going. So he had this problem years ago. Like, it looked like it was brewing, but we gave him the B12 and he bounced back. So we kind of just left it. And we never really revisited it until now. So it is what it is. But Emily's 10th birthday is next week. So we do our best to do the best we can in quarantine style. We didn't have a party planned for her or anything. We were going to go to Great Wolf Lodge, which that trip's been canceled. That was for both the kids' birthday. That was in mid-June, and they're closed. They're closed until later June, and we're not comfortable rescheduling anyways, so we'll get a refund, but it's sad because, you know, we knew these things were happening. We knew it was coming. It was the same with school closing. It's like I knew it was coming, but it's just like once it actually happens, it's really sad. So once I got the email that it was actually like closed, it was kind of sad. So, but we have some fun things planned for her, and we won't do school that day, and we'll just play video games and do whatever she wants to do, watch movies, and have cake and ice cream. So I already got cake mix and frosting that I ordered from the store. We've been doing our shopping via Kroger curbside, and it's been working pretty well. So, but we've been like, every week I go to the store, I pick up the food, I come home, I book my next appointment for a week later. And then throughout the week we add things, and so yeah, I'm set to go again on Monday. And yeah, so that's been working pretty well. So that's it. I rambled for way too much. Oh, I forgot to talk about stash. Not much. I ordered elastic. I got elastic. I got some more dyeing supplies. So a couple more steamer pans, zip ties. I also got some pipe cleaners for masks. And I'm getting a spin dryer for Mother's Day. Jim asked me what I wanted for Mother's Day, and I said, what about a spin dryer for my dyeing? He's like, okay. So that was perfect, easy Amazon order. So hopefully that comes and works well, so that'll be fun. Alright, so that is all. Thank you for watching. Sorry I rambled a little long today. Usually I don't go this long, so I like to keep them between 30 minutes and an hour, but obviously I went a little bit longer today, so I'll hope you all are coping. Hope you all are staying safe. Anybody that is going out to work, I appreciate you, and I hope you are doing your best to stay safe when you are out there. So thank you everyone, and we'll see you next time. Hope you get to craft all the things. Bye.